Hello, hiya. My name's Charlie, and I'm going to teach you some things about living systems and life. So, have you ever wondered what is life? So it started 4.3 billion years ago. The Big Bang made everything get more disconnected and chaotic, and on the surface of our planet, life actually connects things. All life is cells, little living systems that take some things in, and here it's the food in blue arrows I drew, and give other things out like the red arrows, and it could be something it breathes out or something it poos or whatever. Now with no diversity it doesn't work. Look, this cell hasn't got any food left. But if it's a simple living system it works. Look, it goes in a circle, it's like a mini ecosystem. Now simple living systems are not very robust. So if you lose one part, look, it goes wrong. There's no blue arrows left for it to eat again. But if you get a more complex system like this, it can take it. Look, they've lost a member of their little community, but they can still carry on as someone else can make the blue arrows too. Look in the top right. Now, if you zoom out like a million times, we're looking at something like this ash tree. Then it's also a living system too. It takes some things in and other things out, and it's a big complicated network.
So yeah, living systems to me as a plant ecologist means it's a collections of organisms and species that form a whole that either sort of perpetuate their own continued existence or end up kind of producing something. And I think particularly when we think about how living systems are on the planet around us, they're often directly adjacent or nested to within each other. So for example, a garden here, that's one living system. Obviously it keeps its little communities still going like we've got in the grass, but it also provides a function to the house as a place to grow food or simply just to be and enjoy. But that we could consider next to the farm that's behind us, and that's obviously a living system that's producing food and is a use of the landscape, and they're very much kind of nested within one another. So we might think about the landscape and the wider area that would be habitats and ecosystems within itself, and then it's producing far more functions, whether we think it about like maintaining the state of the atmosphere, producing food, kind of being an important national landscape. So whenever you go out and drive in the car would be the most common time to see a huge variety of living systems, anything from your little sort of hedgerow area that might be keeping some bees happy or producing some berries that you can eat, through to the whole landscape that's providing a kind of perpetuated state of planet Earth, really.
So living systems are messy, and every species has evolved and adapted over long periods of time to play their role. Individual species and the bigger systems they make learn and change over time, and they do it with DNA. This is the secret of life and how to make order from chaos. So genes are written instructions for the inside workings of cells, written in a code that works for them. The instructions work a little like algorithms, so like if this then that. Every time a cell is made, the system DNA is part of will gauge the surroundings and tell it what sort of cell to be. In our ash tree there'll be little cues and the cell will know what to be. Is it going to be like a leaf or a stem or bark? And it's the same in your body. There are actually 200 different sorts of cell in the body, and it'll know which one to be, and it can make tiny random changes which, if they're improvements, the animal or plant might keep. And that's how most of nature learns and adapts. And it's tiny changes, and they only happen generation by generation. Learning tiny lessons generation by generation. Evolution is slow, but it works. Now, some animals and humans have other ways of learning. They can use words and ideas and just communicate with information. We don't need to wait to have children to learn one tiny lesson. Learning through ideas and words and culture is fast, and humans have overtaken all the other animals and plants. So we're almost at the end, and here's what I want you to think about. So cells are automatic, using instructions in the genes that have millions of years of wisdom collected the long way, generation by generation. They don't always get it right, it's just what they do, and that's how they learn. And humans have the freedom to choose. We don't only have to do what our genes say, and that is the magic. So the same superpower that let us rule the world is the same one that can help us care and for the living systems we are part of.